Hey there guys, and welcome back to part 2 of our Hoth build series. In the previous video, we laid out all of the white bricks that you see in front of me, and we made this Hoth base. This thing is an absolutely massive Star Wars Lego build that we've been working on in our last video. So if you go check that out before you get into this one, it would be a great idea. Now, we have a lot to do before we can say that this build is actually complete. We're going to be bringing in a lot of detail in the back section here, starting to bring in some Star Wars Lego sets like your AT-STs, your AT-ATs, some Snowspeeders, and of course, an entire army worth of minifigs. Now, follow along till the end of the build because this thing is going to be awesome, and subscribe for more cool Star Wars builds and other builds to come in the future. Now, without further ado, I'm going to jump into this build and get it done. It's time to bring in our friend the AT-AT and put him in that fallen over position that's iconic to the films. So first of all, we got to bend all these legs out and just lose a couple pieces in the process, but that's okay because we're going to be playing around with the positioning of this guy a lot. So I just want to really make sure the feet are in their positions because I'm going to build around the model and really fill up all of the sections. So we've got some gaps in here, some gaps around the back. So I'm just going to go ahead and use a whole heap of our slopey parts to really just fill in that detail. Now that I've got the AT-AT fallen over in its position, I'm going to start bringing in some of the other Lego models, lighting them up, and putting all of our cables that we put into the base earlier into our Lego models. Now that I've got a lot of the lights installed into the actual AT-AT's head, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use one of our gun effects boards to give all of the guns a different firing rate. So right now, using the gun effects board, I'm just choosing the different firing rate for the actual cannons on the AT-AT's head here, because I want it to feel like it's firing 2 cannons at a time for these top ones, and then the bottom cannons are independent. Now it's all about cleaning up all of these cables and making sure it's all neat and then positioning it all on the model. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just going ahead and I'm pre-preparing the area where I want to put in my AT-ST Lego set. I'm going to have him on top of this little cliff just here, and I need to have as many stud connections as possible. So it's literally just a case of pulling up some of the tiles that I laid down earlier and replacing them with plates just to make sure it's nice and strong. Now that I've got all of the Imperial ships in, it's time to start bringing in some of our Rebel troops. So I've got the Snowspeeder here, and I'm really happy with one of my design choices. Because I used those bricks and had gaps and perfectly calculated out every little thing, right here I have a beautifully big void where I can hide all of my excess cables. So legit, all I have to do is tuck all of that underneath and then come back in with some plates and just cover it all over. So once I've done that, just like that, it's as simple as attaching the little stand to my Snowspeeder, like just there. And then because we've still got this tiny bit of excess cable that's poking through, all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put in a couple of sloped elements just to hide that, because you don't want black cables in the middle of your build. Now that we have one of the Snowspeeders in place, before I can go ahead and put in the second one, I think it's going to be really important to just build these couple of little dishes, and while we're at it, we might as well make the minifigs as well. So what I'm doing right now, guys, is I'm just going ahead and I'm putting in some of the Rebellion's defense systems. They've got these little radar dish turrets as well as these big heavy machine gun things. So each of these two bigger turrets are lit up. So I need to power this one just here. We'll just keep adding in a couple more turrets. And now that you can see they're really starting to defend themselves, and it's starting to feel like their defense systems are up. But now that they're in place, I'm gonna put in my last Snowspeeder, and then it's all Minifig Mayhem. Now that I've built the full minifig army, I've got about 50 minifigs in front of me, so it's time to lay them all into the scene and put on any finishing touches. Well, there you have it, guys. The Hoth build is all complete. I put in all the minifigures, I've put in all the models, and of course I had to put in all of the lights. On one side, we've got the rebels that are protecting themselves from the onslaught of the Empire. You've got all the minifigs in there, you've got all the models in there, and all the details that I really wanted to include. It's things like the AT-AT footsteps, the fallen over AT-AT, and the trench that really just take this build to the next level. I've absolutely loved the whole process of building a Star Wars MOC like this, so let us know in the comments down below what you think I should maybe build next. And for those of you who have stayed along this long, you get to find out about our next video that we're going to be doing with the Beyond the Brick people, where we go into all of the detail behind this massive Hoth build of mine. Now, make sure you subscribe for a notification for when that video comes out, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao for now.